Let me share my screen.
And welcome to the other people who have just joined. Thanks for spending your time with us.
Hello, everybody. Well, I will start with just a quick introduction. My name is Madison Han. I am the meeting and events manager here at Doug. So I help run our local meetup program as well as our regional program. Just here to tell you a little bit about Doug and do a quick introduction before we pass it back over to our speakers. So Doug, or Dynamics User Group, we are a free community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft business applications. We mainly focus on Dynamics 365, GP, Power Platform, and AI. And we want to be able to give people the tools and materials to be able to excel and grow in their personal and professional careers. Our rules of engagement is that we essentially ask that these meetups are held to be solely educational. So please no sales pitches. We want everybody to be able to come to these meetings and gain some free educational content that they can take home and implement in their everyday lives. So we also ask that you try and stay engaged with your speaker, ask lots of questions. I know that the speakers always appreciate it. And that's really how you get the most out of these meetups anyway. Dynamics User Group has multiple different programs. We have some free online open discussion forums where you can ask the community a question and they will come back with some answers about a specific product. We have free virtual webinars that are hosted usually once a month, so keep an eye out on our website for more information there. We have conferences, which I'll get into a minute. We have local meetups like this one, as well as some in person. So if you are located in an area and you're looking to meet up in person as well as join these manager and admin virtual ones, feel free to check out our website and we have lots of information there. And then we also have a YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel is where all of our virtual meetups like this one and webinars get posted after the fact. So if you're ever interested to see what people around the world are talking about in local meetups, feel free to check out our YouTube channel. It's a great source of education and obviously free to view. And then we have our mentorship program as well, where you can sign up to either be a mentee or a mentor. Nancy helps run that program. It's a great and awesome program. Would highly suggest it for anybody to join. Just a good way to kind of gain some knowledge on how you can better excel in your own personal career, or if you feel like are at the point where you think that you can mentor somebody else, it's a great way to give back to the community. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check out our website or message me or Nancy, and we'll get you some more information. We also have our DynamicsCon 2026 event coming up from May 12th to the 15th in Las Vegas. This is a community-led conference, so we have community members that help pick all of the content for the conference. We're going to have over 300 speakers. It's going to be a full week of lots and lots of educational content, lots of networking. Again, really great way to get involved in the community. I think a lot of you on the call have probably attended a DynamicsCon in the past. And we have our early bird pricing going on right now until December 31st. And then on top of that, your leaders also got a 15% off discount code to share with your meetup members. So if you use that with the early bird pricing, you get a very discounted rate until the end of the year. So I will send that discount code in the chat once I'm done presenting as well. We also have our call for speakers going on right now for DynamicsCon. So if you are interested in speaking, even in the slightest, would really suggest for you to submit your session. We are always looking for new speakers. We love our past speakers as well. Always looking for some new and engaging content. Even if you are a first-time speaker, never spoken before, and just want to give it a shot, we would really encourage you to apply. We are always open to first-time speakers. And if you need a little bit of extra help, want some mentorship on how to be a great speaker, want to co-present with somebody, we can definitely help set that up for you. So we'll just encourage you to apply if you are even thinking about it in the slightest. And this will be open until December 31st. We also have our 2026 DynamicsCon regionals coming up. So these are a little bit larger in scope than our local meetups like this one, but not quite as big as our conferences. They usually range between 150 to 300 attendees, and they are in-person full-day events, sometimes two-day events that are all around the world, focused in one specific region. And they usually focus on multiple different products. Each will have their own breakout room of content throughout the day. So first one in 2026, we're going to Tampa on January 14th. This will focus on F&O, customer engagement, Business Central, Power Platform, and AI. And then we're also going to Pacific Northwest, Vancouver, March 20th. We're going to Denver, Colorado on April 9th. Toronto in June of 2026. Going to Africa, so Accra, Ghana in July, Columbus, Ohio in August, Montreal in September, Germany in October, and Houston, Texas in November. So if you're interested in attending any of these or being a part of the planning committee for any of these, check out our website for more information and it'll bring you to that specific event page. And that is all from me. So with that, I'll pass it back over to, I'm assuming probably Nancy or Vonda.
Yes, Vanda's gonna share. Yep. Good.
I'm
Okay,
sharing
awesome.
today. Thank you, Madison.
Yeah,
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
It's exciting to see all those regionals. Every time I see you, there's more and more added.
Yeah.
Those are great events. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're super excited. It's going to be a great
Canada's
year.
That's like we're punching above our weight. That's very cool.
Yes, I think we only had one in Canada last year, and we had so many people that reached out to us and were like, we want more in Canada. So we were like, okay, we'll give the community what they want. And now we have 3. So very excited about it.
Perfect.
Okay.
I guess I'm
So
gonna...
should I make this a little larger?
Yep, that's good.
Is that good for everyone?
Yep. Welcome, everybody. So I'm Nancy, Tanya, and Vanda are here. We work, the 3 of us, together to bring you content that's aimed towards administrators and managers of Dynamics and Power Platform solutions. So although the 3 of us are largely focused on customer engagement, we're always looking for speakers on the ERP side of the house, whether it's F&O or finance and supply chain or BC or, Power Platform specifically. So definitely open to that. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone today, and I'm going to talk about something from the Microsoft M365 world, which is Agent 365, but I'll get to that in a minute. So our agenda is I attended Ignite, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I found there. Then I'm going to dive into the Agent 365 topic. We're going to talk, Tanya and I attended an AI conference in Toronto recently. It was an awesome event. Like, we're seeing more and more shift of cross technology as AI continues to evolve. So we were, working with a lot of people from the M365 and Azure Foundry side of the house. There were definitely Dynamics and Power Platform sessions. So we're going to talk about that. Oh, skipped ahead. And then what we'd like to, because this is our last session of 2025, we want to do a year in review and then give you a sneak peek into what we think 2026 may look like. So yes, now we can move along there, Van.
We do. We've just got a quick question though in the chat.
Sure.
Mark is asking about DynamicsCon. Has it replaced Focus and DUG summits? So I don't know if we want to respond to that.
I can respond if it's easier.
Yes, please.
So Mark, I think that those are other companies that run those events. Our largest community run event is DynamicsCon, and the only other conference that we host is Convergence, and Convergence is happening next week.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Thanks, and don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no worries.
No worries.
Chime in. That's
a common question.
Yeah, we're very flex and want to have dialogue. So interrupt us or stop us at any time. It's not really an interruption. So who am I? Nancy Calder. I'm a Microsoft MVP, MVP in the contact center space, but have depth around marketing, sales, and field service as well. I've been in the CRM space for a long time, long before Dynamics and Microsoft even had an offering there. I've put a QR code here if you want to connect with me. It's a way, as we talk about later on, we want to see, more people and get more people engaged in this manager and admin group. We also, have a lot of YouTube downloads. So
WA Business Audio.
Oh, don't know what that was. But anyway, yeah, if you want to reach out to me, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. The email address that I use for community work, both the mentorship group and this manager and admin group, is on the last or near the end. So stay tuned for that. So let's talk about Ignite. Anybody in person at Ignite? You guys might want to put your hand up or clap or, something to indicate who was there. So just maybe one person. So I encourage you to look at the book of news that came out from Ignite. So Ignite happened in San Francisco in November. It's Microsoft's one of their flagship events, where they've kind of combined a partner and customer conference together, and then the developer conference will come with Build. Doesn't mean that there weren't really some very, very deep technical sessions at Ignite, because certainly they were, but they use it as a way of announcing things. So if you look at the book of news, there's a ton of information across the Microsoft ecosystem. Dynamics particularly, I can't talk to the ERP side. However, there were announcements in sales in terms of new agentic capability. There was announcements in customer service and contact center, some specific things around voice and also more agentic capability. So lots of really, really interesting things. But the biggest thing that I found was key to me and my discussion with clients is we keep talking about all this agentic capability, and the concern out there is that we're putting these agents out there in the wild. So Microsoft announced, if you want to go to the next slide, Agent 365, which is your control plane for all your agents. So it lets you look at Foundry agents, it lets you look at Copilot Studio agents. Not an expert, like I said. I'm pretty sure it allows you to, like, if you've brought agents in from an agent store, regardless of where they come from, it lets you look at all of those things. So let's dig in a little bit deeper. We'll go to the next slide.
Maybe
And
should I just do a pop out so we don't have the notes? Let's just see if it's a better view without. Let me just see if we can expand the view, make it a bit better. Because it's bringing up the notes. I thought it wouldn't. So
it's not bringing up the notes for me. Does anybody else see that? No, it's good. It's fine.
Oh, it is for me. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're all good.
Carry on.
Yep. So why did Agent 365 need to come into being? Well, we're seeing agents and agentic capability show up as digital colleagues, right? We're trying to make sure people understand it's not necessarily replacing jobs, but an extension, helping us get through our long to-do lists. Now, some of these mundane tasks and actually more complicated things can be done by digital coworkers. And sometimes it's not just surfacing information, but they can automate tasks and act on behalf of people, so they can start making updates to systems in a controlled way. But this tool will allow us to put our heads around what could be over 1 billion agents in 2028 worldwide, right? Without governance, we may see, if anybody remembers Lotus Notes, there was sprawl with that. Even Power Platform itself, there's been so much sprawl with apps and, low code makers, and like it says here, duplication can happen. So I really loved the fact that Agent 365 was announced. We can go to the next slide. So what does it do? Like, let's talk about a scenario. We're having agents out there in customer service. They're orchestrating data across CRM and knowledge base. It's summarizing and helping resolve issues. On the operations side, they may be going and looking at contracts, looking at budgets, handling vendor. They may be, going out and sending POs to vendor, doing compliance checks. Like there's so many different things and parts of the business that can be impacted and supported by agentic capability. We need to make sure that each agent has the right scope and access and essentially truly becomes that digital employee with the same security policy, what you would do when you set up a human employee within your system and the access that they have. So this is why we need to do it. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
So what is it? It's this one place that allows you to find everything about all of the agentic capability you have in your environment. So it does say here, yeah, so we're definitely picking up anything built on the Microsoft platform. So it's not just Copilot Studio, it's not just Azure Foundry, it's anything, and it does pick up certain select third parties, but it's making sure that you as an admin have line of sight to things that are going on. It allows makers to create things and then ask for permission for them to be published. It's that type of process. So let's go to the next slide. So what you can see here is when you go into the M365 Admin Center, and I guess it's a little bit small, but what I was trying to show you was it gives you a list of all the agents, and it gives you some telemetry around those agents, whether they're active, how many times have they been used, are there problems with them? So as an admin, we would be able to see, like maybe we've published something as an agent and it's not being used, or it's gone off. There's going to be also, I don't know if it's here yet, but understanding the cost associated. Like if you have a pay-go scenario or you have credits, it's going to help you understand how all of those things, how these agents are impacting your cost. But you can see here what it's doing is it's helping you understand that you have an identity set up. So just like we have intra IDs, each agent is going, I guess it's like a service account, if you will, in the old days or in the current days. But it's going to allow you to look at what they're doing, apply policies. It's fully integrated with Defender and Purview. So it's your one-stop shop to make sure you don't have these things out there in the wild. So let's go to the next slide. And the other thing you guys may be hearing about is not just agentic capability, but agents are interacting with MCP servers, right? MCP servers are those a super smart, loosely super smart API that has understanding and context of the data and the process from that system. I hear from my team, I lead the practice globally, the CRM practice globally within Avanade. We're making really great progress on using the Dataverse MCP server to help us do our day-to-day work. So if you're a manager trying to plan your programs and you want to know about how to use AI in your delivery of those implementations, you really should be looking at some of these MCP servers. That's sort of an aside. But if you have people creating agents and they're going into the tool function and they're pulling MCP servers, you need a way of understanding as an admin, if somebody's requesting to add this to your environment, what kind of tools and what kind of risks may be happening with the use of those tools, right? It can help you figure out what policies to apply. So it's an awesome workbench. Let's go to the next one. I think I've got some summary. Oh no, this is, yeah, I think we've talked about this. So this is an example of an agent and the different types of things that you can control. Definitely probably much more meaningful. Or is there anybody out there who accesses the M365 Admin Center today? Okay, so Lawrence, yeah, Mike. Cool. So some of this may be familiar to you. And it's basically an extension of what was there before that you were doing for humans to now give you access to what's happening with your digital employees, creating alerts, looking at security and compliance. On the very right-hand side, it shows requests. And that's where you get requests about this particular agent. Cool. So what does that mean? I'm really hopeful that not just CIOs and IT leaders, but business leaders are going to start to feel more comfortable knowing that we have a governance and a console, if you will, to look at this agentic capability and make sure it doesn't go in the wild and go and do things that, rack up huge bills. I remember when Power Apps first came out, we had a client that just started going crazy with Power Apps, and then they got the bill a month later, and it was a big shock. So we don't want that to happen with the agent deployment. So business leaders and IT leaders should be much more comfortable with it. And if our builders and makers start to think about the fact that we have an Agent 365 console and they think about that from day one, they can perhaps design things in such a way to make it, we're thinking about security, we're thinking about policy, so that when we go to I had somebody actually tell me today they built an agentic capability at Avanade. They built an agent. It was an M365, so like a declarative agent, and they submitted it. Yeah, I'll come back to that, Lawrence. They submitted it for approval, and our compliance team said, nope, not allowed to do that. We're not going to let you run that agent. It was actually just to log his time, and he wanted to have a way of tracking time. So that's what this type of capability will do. So Lawrence, yeah, go ahead. What was the question? Compare Azure Factory versus Copilot Studio.
Yes, you mentioned both earlier, and I'm just not clear, when would you use one versus the other? Is there an overlap? Is it just, are either one the same?
Yeah, so first of all, in Copilot Studio, there's two kinds of agentic capabilities that you can build. One's through Copilot Studio Lite, which was formerly called Agent Builder within the M365 world. It is more lightweight and doesn't allow you, you can't change the orchestration or the user interface. Like there's certain pieces of it that you can change, but if you want to do a full agentic capability and you want to have control over which model or the details of the model, which how you're going to orchestrate it. If you, don't want to use the Teams interface and you want to have a different interface, that's a full Copilot Studio custom engine agent. Then so Copilot Studio underneath is a PaaS essentially, or a SaaS built on top of Azure Bot Framework or Azure Foundry, right? All the cognitive services that it has. So if you need to do something that you're limited on with Copilot Studio because you just need to go to that extra level, or you need more performance, more security control, something that you can't do as a maker, you have the full range of capability in Foundry to do things that maybe test the boundaries of Copilot Studio. Or you might think about doing things in Foundry because because Copilot Studio is a SaaS, it might be more costly to do with Copilot Studio, and you might want to do it with Azure Foundry instead. Does that answer it?
So I think it's going to be my next question. So the price difference is that the Azure Factory may be a little less expensive per transaction than Copilot Studio?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's largely like, think about the theory is that when you have more control and it's lower level coding, if you will, it's going to take you more development time. So it's a trade-off on Copilot Studio that you might have less development and test time but you have to pay for that, right? You're paying for the bundle of services that Microsoft offers. So it's a bit of a trade-off. I find with clients when we look at chatbots, if you will, like, I mean, their Copilot Studio agentic capability, there's some of them that we might say are going to be like high volume. We might choose to do it with Azure Bot Framework as an example. So you can do a hybrid. Yeah.
There's a bunch of the Reactor courses in this week and next week on Azure Data Factory or Azure Factory and Foundry, back up is Azure Foundry. So I'm just learning that aspect of it, and I figured, well, gee, I've already done some Copilot Studios. Where does that fall in? So
yeah, it's going to be more like a dev toolbox, like a developer's toolbox, more than sort of point and click stuff. So it depends on where you're most comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Move along. Yeah, so next steps, there's a program out there where you can, well, even if you're not in the program and you have a standard M365 environment, you should be able to enable Agent 365, and start looking at the agents that your team's already built. Try out Agent 365 so you know where it works, where it doesn't work, and start thinking about your governance from day one, right? Highly encourage you to think about, what policies and security, just like we would in other aspects of Dynamics or Power Platform, start thinking about where that fits into your AI and data strategy from the beginning. And we have a link here to take you to a couple of videos that might help you move along in your journey of learning Agent 365. Any other questions on? Hopefully I did it fair service. It's not my area of expertise. Well, it's new too, right? So, but I think, go ahead.
Can you post that link into the chat, please?
I will. Yeah, I will
Thank you.
shortly.
I was able to click it, from the screen.
Oh, you did? Oh, you have been able to. I didn't want to touch anything in case it crashed.
But then it started the video, so
I had no idea to do that.
Is it in the chat? Because I've done the pop out, so I'm not monitoring the chat at the minute. If you shared it with everyone.
Yeah, we'll get it.
All the links on the decks are always interactive. So
yeah, okay. We know what we're doing.
I encourage, there's those of us that come from the Dynamics world, and we're slowly getting more involved with the Microsoft 365 world. As Microsoft has put us together as AI business solutions, it makes a lot of sense. And Lawrence, you're quite right. Like, there's lots of crossover into the Azure world as well. We have in my world, we have a data and AI practice, and they primarily focus on Azure. So it's really interesting when we have a client request. What's the best way to solve it for the client? If the data and AI team gets there first, it's often an Azure-led solution. If it's a biz apps person that gets there first, it's often a Copilot Studio. Yes, there are two links, Copilot Studio-led. So yeah, I think we're all trying to work out how best to move forward with the toolkit that we have across the ecosystem. Okay, I think the next thing is for me to share some of my favorites from 2025. I do a lot of work in agentic capability, so I'm always thrilled with the out-of-the-box agents that Microsoft brings into our solution that we can offer out to client. The first two relate to contact center, and I was in Microsoft's booth at Ignite, got to show these two agents to a lot of different people. The intent agent is whether I'm calling in through voice or I'm chatting. The agent now, like, we don't have to build anything special anymore. The agent can actually understand what the customer is trying to ask for, do, whatever, right? So I'm chatting, I'm having a problem. It can be that vague. If it's a signed in user, as an example, the agent can understand, well, you're having a problem. Let me go and look up your order and say, is it about the, order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, that's the type of thing that it can do to make the interaction much more positive with the customer and having that intent agent also helps the customer service agent because much of it gets solved or gets sort of handed to them, understanding what the customer is trying to. I'm sure many of you, like me, you call a contact center and it takes a long time to explain what it is that you want them to help you with. So this helps drive that faster. And then the knowledge agent, I talk to a lot of clients about their knowledge management and their knowledge base. A lot of them are in dismal shape, which is why this agent is really cool, because as a customer service agent resolves an issue with a client, it can automatically be prepared and put forward, either, published right away or put forward to an admin to say, yep, that looks great. So we're capturing all of this and not relying on the customer service agent to try to do it after the fact. So it's much more timely, much more clean. And then the sales research agent. I don't know if any of you work with Project Sophia. This is a super cool, like if I was a salesperson, I'd be like all over, loving Dynamics Sales app now, because we have the sales research agent where you can just start asking it questions and it goes and finds out like what's going on with this opportunity, who are the people in the organization, what's going on in the news with the, who are the competitors. Like it just gives you a nice encapsulated summary of everything that's going on related to this account, so that as a seller, when I go and have a conversation with the account, I'm prepared. My meeting prep time goes down significantly. So those are my favorite things.
And Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong, the sales research agent also has a handshake to LinkedIn.
Probably,
right?
yeah, I don't remember exactly.
So
but
it
more
can
the sales
expand your
expertise.
research into
Yeah.
the LinkedIn world too. So
Yeah.
very, very powerful.
Perfect
Do you
segue
need
to
Sales
Jenny.
Navigator for that to work, or can this work in Power Platform against a contact list, or does it have to be the sales platform? What's required for that sales
Search
agent?
I believe, is in the sales app.
Okay.
In the Dynamics platform. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it's available in Teams per se. It's right in the sales Dynamics Sales app. That's where I saw it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Tanya, over to you.
Thank you. Great job, Nancy. Always tough to follow, Nancy. I'll do my best. So that's me. I'll just post my QR code in the chat too, if anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn. So I have worked at a company called SS&C. We're a global fintech. I head up the client experience team over here, and my focus is I always call it I come in after the sale. So although I do help our sales team quite a bit with product expertise, so I've been on this Dynamics platform, and again, it was never called Dynamics in the old days, but for 23 years I've been in the Microsoft CRM space. I do a lot of strategic consulting to clients, and our company focuses on a very niche area of financial services, just wealth and asset management firms. And I help those firms on their journey with CRM, Power Platform, Copilot, and so on. Anything to do with the Microsoft space. And Nancy, I 100% agree with you that as Dynamics focused firms, we're now being pulled into the Microsoft broader ecosystem so much. It's intense. So I think I'm gonna have to change my my bio eventually, because you cannot stay in the dynamic silo anymore. So I love technology. I love sharing everything I know as much as I can. I wish I could clone my brain, and I feel somewhere in Copilot it's coming. So, and I'm in Toronto, and a little fun fact about me, I'm a twin, and I'm a twin mom. So there you go. That's about me. So Vanda, can you forward that for me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
So
drum roll.
I went a bit, I went kind of like some bigger picture concepts and some very, very niche things that I'll highlight for you. Just a couple of really cool things that have popped up from Microsoft or from the whole platform. So we've been talking a lot about hosting a promptathon on our Meetup. I just wanted to share with you that Microsoft actually has a promptathon kit that you can actually, if you are interested in learning more about Copilot in your organization and really trying to figure out how to do it right. So you don't just start building like Nancy said, and all of a sudden you get shut down. The Promptathon kit will actually help you get organized around it, from security, compliance, governance, business plans, and so on. It's a really cool tool. I'm hopeful that we can bring it to one of our meetups and kind of walk everybody through it. But I just want to say that's one of my favorite things is Microsoft has how to host a Promptathon, and it's fantastic. It takes some time, but it's definitely got a lot of good legs in there. MCP servers, I don't have to echo more than what Nancy already talked about. This you need to learn about these for sure. One feature I think is really cool in the Copilot feature set is Copilot Create, to create images. I know lots of other AI tools have done this, but now Copilot has the ability for you to just explain something and it will create you an image. It actually works quite well. And flexible. You can say change that brown to green and things like that. So I like the create images in Copilot Create. It does a whole bunch of different create things too, but I think the images thing was pretty neat. Moving into the CRM world, and again, I'm going to say it's going to be available across different apps in the CRM space, but specifically in the sales app. Microsoft has, they've always kind of had this visualization tool that it was very, very limited. So I want to be able to visualize my data in sort of like a family tree, if you will. Microsoft keeps threatening that they're going to support multi-table visualizations. And given the fact that the Dataverse just grows so exponentially in the CRM, this is a very hard thing to do, that you are not hijacking all the performance of your PC. So building a multi-table visualization is something I literally have been waiting for 20 years. Our clients are waiting for it. It's in preview right now. I'm very hopeful it does what it says to do. Microsoft says it will support the off-the-shelf tables, so things like accounts, leads, contacts, but also custom tables, which I think us as a provider in the CRM space to a very niche market, we have tons of tables that are just unique to our product. So I'm really hopeful that this multi-table visualizations feature really pans out and has some good legs to it. So I really like that. I know it's very tiny, but it's been a big gap in the product for a very long time. One thing that I loved that Microsoft is now saying it's unsupported is inside of the CRM. If you haven't seen the CRM, there's a Copilot sidecar experience. It's called Copilot Chat. So you can sit inside of that chat. It's the Dynamics 365 Copilot, not to be confused with the 100+ other Copilots out there. Inside of CRM, you have a sidecar that allows you to ask questions about your CRM data. You used to be able to take that whole Copilot and put it on your sitemap and actually have it as a home page. There actually was some documentation from Microsoft about how to create your Copilot homepage. And I loved it and I used it all the time. And Microsoft says now it's unsupported. So I put it on here because I wish it was supported, but it is unsupported, but it was still one of my favorite features. Okay, number 6. The power of the Outlook, CRM, and Teams lifecycle and in the sort of your operational flow and how interconnected they are and how you can experience these other applications inside of each application. It's just growing in power and growing in feature set. And I think that these efficiency tools, or these tools that a lot of people are using every day, are really, really going to be making everybody's world so much easier. And I think the fact that Microsoft is looking across these biz app tools in a bigger way, I think the biggest advancement has been with Teams to pull in your CRM data, to pull in your Outlook data, and so on. I think it's just so phenomenal. And I think it's underutilized in terms of just that interconnectedness, but I know that's not one feature, but I think the combo of these 3 very powerful productivity tools really have a lot of legs. Okay, Vonda, we'll go to my next list. I think I have 10. So I couldn't limit it. Honestly, I had a hard time limiting it
That's
to
a
10.
funny too.
So I think the whole concept of low code, no code has really been life changing for a lot of people. And that goes across all the powers, and then the Copilot Studio and Dataverse. I think just conceptually how that has just brought lots of value to firms, but also a lot of career opportunities for people to be adjacent to a technical world and be a non-technical person. And I think just not only from I develop and I deliver things, but also how much it's evening the playing field, if you will, and opening up opportunities for new roles and new jobs in clients' worlds. It is just incredible. So I'm a huge fan of the no code, low code, but Microsoft continues to evolve it and continues to fix and improve on features in there. So I would say that would be one of my top features. Back again to kind of like an in the weeds one. Inside of the CRM, Microsoft has released this feature called Row Summary. It's an AI generated summary of the record. You can tailor it for your organization. So in my space, for instance, we would have our users are typically portfolio managers and wealth managers. So a summary to them would be, tell me about the relationship, the family members, the birth dates, their assets under management. So we, without code, we can configure a really nice summary that when, as soon as I log in to the CRM, I open up a record, I can see this really nice Copilot generated summary, and it's unique for every firm. So again, you don't have to be an expert in Copilot. You just have to know what would be relevant for my team members to see a summary. And Microsoft has it available on the forms, but it's also when you look at a list view. So now I can be more efficient in navigating from record to record to record and just hover over the AI summary and a pop out. And then I can go to the next record, go to the next record. So I really like this feature. And we're certainly seeing that being used at our clients more and more. So I like that Copilot summary tool, and it's available on any table. So again, back to that custom world. I just had a client ask me about, they record what they call transactions. So it's money movements, and they want to be able to flag clients who should not be asking for money, which is a very in the weeds kind of experience. So we're going to use a little Copilot summary on the table. It's a custom table to identify if there is a flagged client, which is another record type in the CRM. So it's going to be really neat. I think the possibilities are just endless on this type of feature. Another super cool thing, and Lawrence, you've mentioned it a little bit about how to get data out of the CRM. Certainly all of the features that you talked about of views and dashboards and wizards and report tools, we actually see a lot more in the Power BI space more and more. So an inline or an embedded report. So think of a contact record in the CRM, having an embedded Power BI dashboard in there just to list things like their bank account information that comes from a different source of data, that you create a report in Power BI and you just want to show contextual bank account data. So very, very cool, very powerful. And then obviously being able to show Power BI dashboards as a dashboard in the CRM has been gaining a lot of ground with a lot of our clients. And, you know, thanks to Microsoft for enabling a Power BI experience in the CRM, I think it's really growing in terms of tool adoption that might not have been as seamless as it could have been. So I really like the embedded or inline analytics now that are available that really just take what has been an okay an analysis tool of charts and views and things like that and really put it on steroids. So I really love that feature. And then I think just overall,
Question or
yeah.
comment. So one of the things I found at the summit was that they just made the Copilot better. That for the first time, I can go to the Copilot tool and say, group on email address and show me all the duplicates.
Yeah.
That was not available in the Copilot pre-summit, but that that weekend, it got introduced and it worked in the session.
Yeah, you know what? I had such a hard time limiting it to 10. I could talk for days on stuff like that. And I think
We do have Vanda's list too.
And we have a few more coming. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the other thing is it's such an evergreen world now. You're not waiting for an annual release. Like you just have to stay on top of these new features. And I think the power of meetups is sharing these tips and tricks with everybody because it's impossible for one person to stay on top of everything. So, okay, my last one, and I'm going to hand it over to Vonda, is the whole concept of unified everything, governance, security, administration. Nancy touched on the agents piece, but also think purview, looking at how to maintain your organization and tools that Microsoft provides. So purview, of course. And then, home bases for looking at things like your Power Automate flows in a console base. Like, as you remember, I've been on this platform for over 20 years. This year and last year, I've seen the most global feature sets enhancements, I think, in my experience, and stuff that we could never get to because Microsoft keeps these little areas hidden. It's now available, and it's just really been so like such a positive change and a positive experience for a lot of clients. And I will say my company works in both Salesforce and Microsoft. These tools are what is making Microsoft kind of rise in the ranks of, I'm not just buying a CRM, which would be a Salesforce product. I'm buying a platform. I'm investing in my platform because all of these adjacent tools and features, I think it's really elevating the Microsoft CRM tool because of all these other things that you can do with it. And not that you can't achieve something similar on Salesforce, it's just a very different approach to it. So anyway, I got the hook. Vonda, your turn.
How are we doing for time though? Because we've got roughly 10 minutes, so we've still got about 6 slides. So, okay, super fast. You can see me. There's my photo. I'm a BA. I've been working with Dynamics for 11 years, not necessarily as a BA, but certainly in the Dynamics space, end clients in Canada, and now I live in very happily in Spain, and I work for Avanade Europe, so we deal with European clients, and obviously here Spain as well, but we stretch to Europe. I've fallen upon customer service and omni-channel and really digital contact center. That's sort of my space. That's where I've been for a few years now. And I co-host with Nancy and Tanya, of course, this manager and admin meetup. And I have a lot of sunshine most of the time. So that's me. And quickly, my favorites, Copilot for Service. It may not be so hot off the press. It's been around a while, but it's good for those working in the contact center with other CRMs. It doesn't have to just be the Dynamics CRM that people have invested in, and it's great for conversation summary. So Copilot summarizing what's come in, that's helping accelerate an agent or customer service representative's experience. So that's been a while, and that's very flexible, so people are not obliged to be in the Dynamics 365 CRM, as it were. Copilot, its ability inside customer service workspace, for example, within Dynamics customer service workspace, helping accelerate a customer service representative's experience if they're needing to respond to a client, partial drafting or prompting and suggestive contextual text really helps accelerate that experience and whizzing off correspondence to the client or the incoming caller as soon as possible. So that's been quite a big game changer. You don't have to think so much. It can prompt and come up with a lot for you. And I know Nancy touched on the knowledge management agent earlier. But apart from the fact it's clever to produce and elaborate an article based on the closure of a case, another part to that is that there are also knowledge insights. So supervisors who are monitoring these, what can become quite ugly knowledge bases with archived articles that no one's ever got time to go through and bring up to date. Supervisors are able to look at the insights and see the analytics behind which articles are being referenced most of the time, any trending. So you can see the types of needs that are coming in, the kind of resources customer representatives are needing to draw on. There's that, and also things like helping weed out articles that are seen to become out of date or need to be brought up to date. There's all that prompting and suggestive aspects with the agent that will help sort of mine through your existing knowledge base and try and help you as an organisation keep things as current as possible. So it's quite multifaceted, that knowledge management agent. So they're three of my favourite things, and they're great in the world of customer service and digital contact centre. So our year in review, is this me or do one of the ladies want to go through this?
Oh, you go for it.
You want me to? Okay, my dulcet tones. So as we reflect on the last year, we've held to date, this is our 10th, we've had 9 meetups as a group, and within that meetup group that we have, we've got 330 members, so they don't turn up every month, but in and out, we've got 330. We've been able to have over 13 guest speakers, which includes some MVPs well known in the patch, including our Nancy, who's our MVP, fairly new MVP this year. And so you can see some of the organisations that have come on and joined us. And of course, in time to come, we'll talk a little bit later. But if you want to put yourselves forward and nominate, there's something that you want to share and collaborate with us on, we'd be pleased to hear from you. So these are just some of the organisations. And as we're a virtual group, it's quite pleasing to know that after we've signed off, people still want to go and fish us out of YouTube, and we've had over 600 views to date. So that's beginning to gain momentum. And these are live links, but all of the sessions that we've had this year, so we had a break in the summer months, July and August, but the themes or the guest speakers, these are the sessions that were held. All of these would be live links, and you'd be welcome to go back through and have a read through those, listen to those. So that's our lineup for this year. That's how it's been. And as for next year,
Just click Vonda. I'll take this one.
what's happened to our blank? Oh, it's got a
It's got
surprise,
some
delayed.
animation. Yeah, I've got
Okay.
a delayed gratification. So January, we're going to cover optimizing Dataverse storage. I think that's a topic that everybody should be aware of. February, we're going to look at Purview and do a light view of Wave 1. In March, we're going to keep clicking, Vonda, please.
Sorry.
Probably focus on Power BI. Again, I mentioned earlier, I'd love to do a prompt-a-thon, so we're still wrapping our heads around that. We'll cover some Copilot Studio topics. June, we'll cover some Fabric content. And then we'll go on hiatus for July and August. So we're still prepping for our September and last part of the year. And please do reach out to us, as we've been saying a million times on this webinar already. We love participation. So you don't always have to listen to us all the time. We love to have your brains in here and your knowledge. So please do reach out. You can use Nancy's contact there for us. So, and the last slide is really just a thank you, everybody. Please do, if you have some time, take a moment to give us some feedback. The feedback also will ask you about future sessions and so on. But thank you, everybody, for attending. I'm going to just do one plug for another Canadian Doug's event that's happening virtually next Thursday. It's in the chat. Some of the folks that spoke on our meetup are actually going to speak on that meetup as well. But it's a nice session that's coming up very timely next week. And 2025 that's a wrap. Nancy, Vonda, anything you want to add in there?
Yeah, no, it's been, we've only been in existence really for just a little over a year. So I think
Yeah.
we're getting a great group, and, tell your friends, bring more
Yeah.
people, spread the word. Let's get
Mhm.
more ERP people, more Power Platform. Love to have those point of views as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a wrap from my perspective.
I've just pasted in the chat the feedback form that you just referenced, Tanya, and also
Thanks.
January session. So if you want to start the new year right, come back, come and join us, and bring your buddies, and
Yep.
we'll start to make this group bigger and fatter and
Yeah.
more valuable. Yeah.
Sure. And all the recordings that include the deck that we have recorded will be on YouTube. Usually it takes a week or so to get it up there, Vonda. But yes, Patrick, we will be sharing the recording as soon as possible.
Before
Okay.
Christmas. I
Before
promise.
Christmas. And then
I'm very busy on delivery, but yeah, I'll
Yeah, I
make
better
sure
do my
it's
part today. There'll be a
perfect.
convergence next week. Yeah.
All right.
okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for attending. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Yes.
Have
Thanks,
a great
everybody.
holiday season. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.